Putting on talit and tefillin. It's best to put on the talit before the tefillin. That's what we normally do. However, if you touch your tefillin bag before you touch your talit, or if your tefillin are closer to you than your talit, you should be putting on the tefillin first. That's why when we arrange talit and tefillin in the bag, we put the talit on top and closer to the opening so that we will touch it first. We take out the talit. And if we have reason to suspect that something bad may have happened to them, we inspect the tzitzit and make sure nothing is torn before we put them on. Next, we unfold the talit and place it behind us, ready to be put on. And before wrapping ourselves in it, we say the blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher kideshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu להתעטף בתzitzit. We place the talit on the head and fold up the sides over our shoulders so that we have two corners in front, two corners in back, and then we can put the head part down on our... After we put the talit on, we move to the tefillin. The tefillin are kept in a bag with the shel yad on the left, shel rosh on the right. The shel rosh is kept on the right because it's holier, and we also want to know on which side each one is so that we can reach for the shel yad first. Unlike the talit and tefillin, the order in which we put on the tefillin does matter, and we always put the shel yad on before the shel rosh. So it's best to make sure to touch the shel yad first. But if we didn't, if we encounter the shel rosh first, we still start with the shel yad. We unwrap it, being careful that the straps do not touch the ground because they're holy. We take off the outer protective box. Most tefillin these days come with an inner sleeve or an inner protective box that only covers the top part of the tefillin, and it's designed to preserve the corners. We can keep that on since it doesn't interrupt between the bottom of the tefillin and our skin. But we need to be careful that nothing does intervene between the bottom of the tefillin and our skin. We roll up our sleeves. The tefillin sits on the bicep, the muscular part, about 2 finger widths above the crease of the elbow, on the raised part of the muscle of the arm. There's no need to remove a watch or rings, but we need to make sure that this part of the arm, where we put the bait and the first windings of the strap, are without anything intervening between the tefillin and the arm. We place it in its proper place, upright, slightly tipped inwards towards the heart, and before tightening it, we say the blessing. After we say the blessing, we tighten it and wrap it in the traditional way, and we have to be careful not to talk until after we've placed the tefillin shel rosh in its proper place. So here we go. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher kideshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu להניח תפילין. After making sure that the head tefillin, the shel rosh, is in its proper place, we may talk again. The tefillin shel rosh needs to sit on the top of the head, completely above the hairline, or where the hairline was before it started to recede. It's better to keep the tefillin a little higher than it needs to be than lower than it needs to be, because if it descends down below the hairline even a little bit, it will invalidate the mitzvah. It needs to be lined up between the eyes, but like I said, above the hairline. And that's why it's good to use a small handheld mirror to check that it's lined up and not off to one side. The knot in the back of the head should also be in the middle and just below the bone where there's an indentation in the head. And it's important that nothing be intervening between the tefillin shel rosh, the bayit itself, and the straps that go between the bayit and the kesher, the knot at the back. So we have to be careful that nothing is down there. Check that our kippah isn't underneath the strap, and make sure that the black side is out and it hasn't become twisted. After we put the shel rosh in place, we go back to the hand and we take off these extra straps and wrap around the fingers in the hand in the traditional way. Most people do it so that they make the letter sheen, like so. 7 windings in this part of the arm, and then the sheen on the hand. And we tuck the strap in underneath so that it doesn't become undone while we're wearing it. After everything is in place, it's proper to put the shirt sleeve or jacket down over the shel yad, because it's supposed to be a sign for you and not for others, as opposed to the head tefillin, which is supposed to be there for others to see as well. One must be careful never to dangle the tefillin shel rosh by the straps. We always hold on to the bayit with our hand and not just let it dangle from the straps. It's a common mistake, and the Gemara has very severe words about someone who does that. When we remove the talit and the tefillin, we do so in the opposite order than what we did when we put them on. So we put the talit on first and the tefillin on second. We start by removing the tefillin, and then we remove the talit. And when we're removing the tefillin, we start by undoing the hand, then we remove the shel rosh, put it away, and then lastly we remove the shel yad and put it away as well. Again, we're careful that we don't let go of the bayit. We keep it in our hand. We don't let it dangle from the straps. And we're careful that the straps don't touch the floor. Tefillin shel rosh on the right of the bag. Tefillin shel yad on the left, and we take off and fold the talit. Here too we want to be careful that the tzitzit doesn't drag on the ground. talit in the front, so that we touch it first, and we close the bag. That's the way it's done. Have a good day.